It's impossible to understand what motivates people to abandon their children. Some are motivated by poverty, others fear being judged by relatives and friends, and some think they're hopeless. We are not the ones to judge. Today's story of an abandoned newborn girl ended well, thanks to the sensitivity and attention to one wonderful creature, a dog named George. This horrific incident took place in Port Elizabeth. On that day, Charlene, a 63-year-old retiree, was out for a walk with her dachshund, George. Without knowing why, as if some unknown force had led her, the lady turned from her usual route and went in a completely different direction. Charlene couldn't explain what made her choose the other path. It was some kind of miracle. The pet rushed forward as if it had seen or heard something. Running up to the concrete slab that covered the hole in the drainage pipe, George stopped and began barking furiously. He was nervous and behaving unusually. Charlene walked over and immediately understood the reason for his behavior. She could hear a low cry from beneath the concrete slab. At first, she thought it was a cat that had fallen into a drain pipe and couldn't get out. After a moment, she was shocked. She realized it was the cry of a human baby. There was no one around. Where did the child come from? The woman tried to move the slab independently, but to no avail. After assessing the situation and realizing that time was running out, the woman rushed to the nearest driveway. She tried to stop passing cars, but no one stopped. Finally, she was lucky, and the car stopped. Behind the wheel was a man named Corny Williams. Charlene quickly explained the situation to him, and together they ran toward the place where the baby was crying. Corny tried to move the slab, but all his attempts were in vain. Then he remembered there was a crowbar in the trunk of his car. The man rushed to get it, and they finally moved the heavy concrete slab with Charlene. As the sunlight fell on the bottom of the pit, they saw a baby on the ground near the drain pipe. The baby was crying hard, but it was more like wheezing because her strength was leaving her with each passing moment. Before taking the baby in his arms, Corny took pictures of this horrible find. The man realized that these pictures might be helpful in further investigation. Immediately after that, he took off his jacket, carefully wrapped the baby, and climbed out of the pit. The second miracle in this story was that the entire bottom of the hole was covered with red ants, digging into the man's body and biting him while he was down. But not a single ant touched the baby, as if even the insects felt compassion for the unfortunate creature and realized that the little girl was now fighting for her life. Charlene called an ambulance, which arrived very quickly. After a preliminary examination of the girl, the decision was made to transport her to the intensive care unit of the nearest clinic. The newborn girl was diagnosed with severe hypothermia and breathing problems, but overall, she was healthy and had a good chance of survival. It is unknown how long the little girl was underground in the dark and cold, surrounded by red ants, but she remained unharmed. The girl was named Grace April. After several days in the intensive care unit, she was transferred to the general newborn ward. It is still a mystery who could have committed such a crime. The investigation is ongoing, but there are no results. It is also unknown how the child ended up under the concrete slab. There are many questions and only a few answers in this story. And the hero was a brave dog, George, who managed to hear the little girl's faint squeak, find her, and call for help from his mistress. It's great that such sensitive and loyal creatures like dogs live among us. Compared with some of the monstrous actions of people, we can say that sometimes animals are more humane. If you liked this story, subscribe to our channel and be sure to click on the bell to avoid missing our new episodes. Bye!